Namaste and welcome to our yoga for our mind, body and spirit in the morning. We're going to begin today at the top of our mat, standing in Tadasana. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale and reach our arms to the sky, elongating the spine and stretching out the chest, opening the chest upwards and really relieving any tension in the shoulders. Exhale, halfway lengthen pose in a forward fold, staying on your fingertips, gazes ahead, keeping your spine straight. Breathing deeply into this stretch in the hamstrings and the spine. Inhale here, then exhale, hop back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Open that chest and that spine, relieving any tension in that lower back. Exhale, tuck the toes under, push the tail to the sky, downward facing dog. You can walk out your hamstrings slightly here, pushing the mat away from you, opening up those shoulders, stretching out that spine and that tailbone. Hold here for a few more seconds, breathing deeply into this stretch. Then inhale, take a three-legged dog pose, pointing the toe, and step back into a wild thing posture. Opening your chest and your hips to the sky, stretching out your stomach. Hold here. Feel any tightness and tension in the spine just melt away. Really breathing into this posture, into your stomach, into your rib cage. Then twist round and release your hips to the mat, keeping one leg bent and the other straight. We're going to take a revolved head to knee posture, bringing the back of your head towards your knee, reaching for your toes, feeling that deep stretch in the hamstrings, breathing deeply into your side body. Holding here for a few seconds, gently feeling that release, using your breath to center you here. Begin to twist round into a low lunge posture, pulsing forward, making sure that your front knee is directly over the ankle. Breathing deeply into this stretch in the hips, maybe reaching your arms to the sky and allowing your chest to face towards the sky. Breathing deeply into the stretch in the spine, opening up the quad and the psoas as well here. Placing your hands to the mat, step back into our downward facing dog. We're going to repeat that short sequence on the other side. So find some mobility here, and then when you're ready, we're going to take that three-legged dog on the other side, pointing the toe, opening up the hips, and then step back into a wild thing posture, opening our chest and our hips to the sky, stretching out the stomach. Feeling any stiffness in the spine just melt away. Breathing into this posture here. Opening up the lower back as well. Then twisting round and releasing your hips to the mat. Coming into a revolved head to knee posture. Pointing the straight legs toe and reaching for those toes. Bringing the back of the head to the knee. Opening up the side body and the hamstring. Gaze to the sky. Breathing deeply into this spine and side body. Begin to make your way into our low lunge posture. Gaze to the front of the mat, opening up the hips, the psoas, the quad, the hamstring, and the spine here. Breathing deeply into all these areas that we're stretching. Maybe reaching your arms to the sky and opening up the shoulders, opening up the chest to the sky as well. Pulsing here into this stretch in the hips, holding for a few more seconds. Place your hands to the mat and lift your back knee off the mat. Then step into our halfway lengthen forward fold, gazes ahead. Breathing deeply into this stretch in the hamstrings and the spine. Then inhale, slowly rise up into our Tadasana, our standing posture, and reaching our arms to the sky, opening up our lower ribs. Then release our hands back down beside our body and place your hands in a prayer position. Slowly bring your weight forward, and in doing so, lifting your right leg up off the mat, coming into Warrior 3 posture. Gazes ahead or towards the mat, whichever gives you more balance. Then inhale, slowly draw that back knee towards the front knee and bend that front leg. Slowly come into a seated position, and you should naturally come into a half Lord of the Fishes. Twisting round so that your gaze is over to the left side and behind you, using that right arm to push that left knee away from your body. Twist out that spine and breathe deeply here, coming forward onto your sit bones and keeping that spine straight, holding here for a few more seconds. Slowly make your way up into our standing position again, but keeping our legs in the same position. They should be slightly staggered, and we're going to stretch over to the left side, opening the right side body, reaching the right arm over our head, and then coming back to center, lifting that right leg back into our Warrior 3 posture. Staying here for a few more seconds, elongating the body, finding that balance. And then coming forward with that leg and stepping into an eagle posture, wrapping that right leg around the left. Bring our arms behind you, clasping the fingers together, and open the chest. Gaze is ahead. Then stepping back into our Tadasana mountain pose. And we're going to repeat that sequence on the other side. So when you're ready, join your hands over your heart center in a prayer position and slowly begin to bring your weight forward. Doing this, you'll be able to lift off that left leg this time, coming into our Warrior 3 pose. Find that balance on that right leg, keeping your core in tight and your weight forward, using your glutes and your hamstrings to keep you strong on that right leg. Hold here for a few more seconds, then draw that left knee in towards the right and begin to settle down into our half Lord of the Fishes. Pushing that right leg away from you, twisting round over to the right side, really feeling that deep twist in the lower back and spine. Gaze is behind you, breathing deeply into this twist. Begin to come back to our standing position, this time with our staggered leg position. Reach that left arm over your head, stretching over to the right side, breathing deeply into the left side body. Hold here for a second, gently breathing. Then sweep that leg round into our warrior three posture, joining our hands over our heart center. Finding that balance here, gazes ahead or to the mat. And then when you're ready, begin to draw that leg forward, sweeping that leg over top of the right, coming into our eagle pose. Keeping the left toes pointed and engaged, gazes ahead with our arms behind us, stretching out our chest and our shoulders. Hold here for a few more seconds, finding that balance. Then stepping back into our Tadasana mountain pose, with our feet this time mat distance apart, toes pointing away from one another. Then draw your tailbone towards the mat, coming into a yogic squat, pushing your knees away from each other. Holding here for a few seconds, stretching out the hips and inner thighs. Allow your hips to come to the mat and lift your feet up off the floor, coming into boat pose, using your arms in front of you to keep your balance and squeezing that navel into the spine, squeezing that core. You can extend your legs up to the sky, keeping your gaze up to the sky and ahead here, stretching out the hamstrings as well as engaging that core. Hold here for a few seconds. Place your left leg down to the mat and keep hold of your right ankle. Reach your left arm out behind you, keeping your gaze behind you, twisting round to the side. Chest is reaching over to the left side. Point your toes up to the sky and breathe into this deep twist in the spine. Hold here for a few seconds, finding that balance and strength. And then when you're ready, sweeping that arm back to center and come back into our boat pose, straightening out our legs. Then place your right foot to the mat, keeping hold of your left ankle, and sweep that right arm behind you, gazes behind you, twisting your chest over to the right side this time. Keeping your spine straight and the crown of your head pointing towards the sky. Breathe into this gentle twist in the spine, holding here for a few seconds. Sweep back round into our boat pose, keeping that stability in the spine and the core. And then releasing the legs to the mat, keeping them out straight, pointing the toes. We're going to fold over our legs, coming into a seated forward fold. Bending from our hips, not rounding our spine. Nose to knee if you can, stretching out the hamstrings. Breathing deeply into any sensations you feel within the legs and the spine. Coming back into a staff pose position, slowly begin to recline to the mat. We're going to take a figure 4 on our right side, so crossing our right leg over top of the left and pulling that left leg in towards your chest. Breathing deeply into the stretch in the glute and the hip. Hold here for a few seconds, focusing on breathing into that stretch. Then repeating this figure 4 on the other side, this time crossing the left leg over the right and pulling that right knee in towards your chest, opening the left hip flexor and the left glute. And then bringing your legs back to a neutral position and placing your feet to the mat. Holding here for a few more seconds, breathing into the chest and the rib cage, allowing beautiful oxygen to fill up your ribs and your lungs, feeling any sensations in your chest and around your nose. And then coming up to a seated position to end the practice with me, join your hands over your heart center and join me in saying Namaste.